Okay, you guys, for the first time ever on the Reviews 2.0 series, I'm going to review an animated short film that is over 27 minutes long. So I'm going to give this short film the Reviews 2.0 treatment by extending this review to over 10 minutes. Can I do this? Keep watching this review to see if I can complete this feat. Caution! The following video is an in-depth review of the movie I'm currently reviewing, which means that there will be massive spoilers in the review. If you haven't seen this movie yet, then please feel free to watch this movie first before watching this video. However, if you have already seen this movie, or you just want to know my thoughts on this movie, then keep watching. When I first reviewed The Snowman way back in 2011, yeah, it was a pretty long time ago, I never would have thought that I would do a review on a short film. I mean, sure, The Snowman is still technically a film, as it was nominated in the Academy Awards for Best Animated Short Film, but the fact that I would do a full-on review for a short film was definitely a task that I thought would be impossible. It's sometimes hard to write out a long review for a short film because, well, the film is really short, and therefore doesn't really leave enough room for a detailed review. On the other hand, The Snowman was a short film that I really wanted to review since I have been watching this movie ever since I was a child, and I wanted to give out my 2 cents on this beloved classic short film. So, if I don't reach the 10-minute goal of this review, I'll still be happy with just doing the best I can and getting my thoughts out there. So before I go into my thoughts about this short film, I would like to give out a brief summary of this film. The film starts off with a young boy, who's called James according to some references little towards the end of the film, going outside to play in the snow. While the boy was playing outside, he ends up building a snowman that he quickly begins to take a liking to. But then the boy had to go back inside the house since it was past his bedtime. Later that night, however, the boy ends up sneaking out of his room to check up on the snowman, and it was then that the snowman suddenly came to life. The boy then takes the snowman inside and shows him around the house. The boy and the snowman then start doing various activities in the house, such as the snowman putting on the boy's mother's makeup, and the boy and the snowman riding on a motorcycle in the middle of the night. Later on, however, the snowman begins to feel homesick and wanted to go back to the North Pole. So the snowman ends up taking the boy to the North Pole with him, where they ended up meeting other living snowmen and Father Christmas himself. I was actually introduced to Raymond Brigg's The Snowman through this very animated short film. I didn't read the original 1978 picture book that this movie was based off of until well into my college years. Sure, the movie was a bit different from the original picture book, but I still enjoyed this movie, and I even think that this movie was much more memorable than the book, probably because of the walking in the air sequence, which I'll delve into later. The Snowman is quite a unique film because of the fact that it doesn't have any dialogue throughout the film. It's rare that you have a film that doesn't use any dialogue to explain what the characters are doing or how they are feeling, and it's what makes this film so memorable to me. I also didn't watch too many movies that didn't feature any dialogue since those types of movies are hard to come by, and I actually thought that I wasn't going to like this film because I wasn't used to watching movies with no dialogue. However, the moment that I saw the animation being used in this film, I was absolutely blown away by how gorgeous the visuals were. Never have I seen such animation that really captures the characters' emotions and their actions throughout the whole film and manages it so effortlessly. I love the fact that even though there is no dialogue in this film, the animation does the talking for us by showing us how the characters are feeling through body language and what the characters are doing within the story. I don't think that the film would have worked out so well if it wasn't for the attention to detail in the animation itself. The fact that the entire film was hand-drawn was quite an accomplishment for the time, especially during the walking in the air sequence. Another aspect that I really liked about the animation was that it was very faithful to Raymond Brigg's artwork from the original picture book. It felt like seeing Raymond Brigg's picture book come to life on the big screen and having the same experience that I had with the picture book. Another aspect that I really enjoyed about this film was the music itself. Howard Blake did such an amazing job with the soundtrack for this film, as the music was beyond beautiful to listen to. I also loved the way that the music flowed with the animation itself, especially during the scenes where the boy showed the snowman around his house and the music meshed so well with the characters' movements. But the scene where the music truly shined was of course the famous walking in the air sequence. I just get goosebumps every time I watch this scene, in a positive way. The animation during this sequence was just so mesmerizing, as we get to see the snowman and the boy fly across various cities and lands to get to the North Pole. I especially love the way that the film handled the 3D aspects being used during this sequence, as we get to see the cities and the lands from the boy snowman's point of view. It actually felt like I was flying with the snowman and the boy, as we the audience get to see the cities and lands from an aerial point of view. It's also interesting to note that the walking in the air sequence was the only part of the film that actually contained dialogue, as in someone was singing the song Walking in the Air during the sequence. I was actually surprised that the song was sung by Peter Auty, since I thought that it was a girl singing the song. Anyway, his singing voice was so beautiful and mesmerizing that I got a bit teary-eyed listening to the song because while it was beautiful, it also had a haunting air to it. And now I would like to talk about the theme of this movie. It seems to me that the theme of this movie is the importance of friendship and how it's best to cherish the things that you love before you lose them. I love the friendship shared between the snowman and the boy, as it felt so genuine and heartwarming. The scenes where the snowman and the boy share each of their worlds with each other was definitely one of the highlights of the film, as it shows just how close the two are. I enjoy the scenes where the boy shows the snowman around his house, as we get to see scenes like the snowman trying out some makeup and riding a motorcycle, and I found these scenes to be so entertaining. And after the boy shows the snowman around his home, we get to see the snowman show the boy his world by flying towards the North Pole and meeting up with other living snowmen and Father Christmas himself. I love the fact that we get to see both sides of the worlds that the characters live in, as the boy's life is normal and quiet, while the snowman's life is full of magic and fun. I can't be the only one who got giddy when the boy met Father Christmas in person and got to meet his magical reindeer and even got a present from him personally. It's like a dream come true for any child who wishes to meet Father Christmas in person and see what kind of person he is. And now I would like to talk about the ending of the film. The ending is probably one of the most tragic things I've ever seen happen in any movie, short and long. I didn't go into much detail about the ending in my original review because I was still in that phase where I didn't want to spoil the movie for anyone who hasn't seen it. But now that I got a big old spoiler warning at the beginning of my review videos, here's what happens at the end of the movie. The snowman melts, the boy realizes that all of this wasn't a dream, and breaks down crying. The end. Seriously, that's how the movie ends. When I saw this ending, not only did I start crying myself, but I was beyond shocked that the movie ended this way. For the most part, the movie was very lighthearted and heartwarming, and the fact that the movie ended on such a downer note took me quite by surprise. The ending was quite tragic, although not when the wind blows level tragedy. Don't worry, we'll tackle that film another time. At first, I was a bit conflicted on the downer ending, as I was wondering to myself about whether or not the film should have ended that way. But then as I got older, I started to view the ending in a different way. While it was indeed tragic to see the snowman melted and the boy crying over his melting body, it actually provided a realistic look at the situation. The moment that the sun was coming out during the scene where the boy and the snowman were flying back to the boy's house, you knew that the sun was going to melt the snowman, but you didn't want to believe it. That's exactly how I felt, as I was like, okay, the sun is coming up, but the movie's not going to end with the snowman melting, right? Wrong! What made the ending so tragic to me was the fact that the boy had spent so much time with the snowman throughout the movie and actually formed a bond with the snowman. So when the snowman melted, it felt like the boy had lost a good friend and lost all the magic that he had doing his adventures. Despite the fact that the ending was tragic, I was actually okay with the movie ended this way because it's rare that I see a Christmas movie that actually has a downer ending. It was also a great way of showing the audience that you should treasure all the good moments in your life because they could be snatched away from you without any warning. The Snowman actually got a sequel in 2012 called The Snowman and the Snow Dog, 30 years after The Snowman was made. What's ironic about this was that my original review of The Snowman was made in 2011, a year before the sequel came out. Wow, what a weird coincidence. Anyway, I haven't seen the sequel yet, but I am interested in seeing if the sequel's as good as the original movie. Hopefully I'll review that movie down the line. Overall, I give The Snowman a perfect score of a 10 out of 10. I didn't really find anything wrong with this movie, unless you don't like sad endings. The movie did a fantastic job at balancing the heartwarming scenes with the sad scenes, and the animation was quite gorgeous and beyond its time. The music was also one of the major highlights of the film, and the main theme song, Walking in the Air, will continue to be stuck in my head to this very day. This is definitely one of the greatest British animated short films I have ever seen, and it is one Christmas film that I continue to watch to this very day. Hope you enjoyed my review of The Snowman. Also, if you want early access to movie and TV show reviews before I release them on Sunday, then please feel free to support me on Patreon. It's $3 per month for early access to my videos, and if you want to request a movie or TV show for me to review as a patron, then it's $5 per month. You will also get a shout out in my videos, and you will be featured on my Patrons Wall of Fame list at the end of each video.